I don't know which camera am I looking at? Which
There it
camera
is.
am I looking?
Oh,
See,
shoot.
There it is.
this is
Wait,
fucked.
Bruce, which camera is
It's
it?
your
It's your
camera, but we're both.
Oh,
in
but we're
it
both
now.
in the shot.
We're both in it. Hello and welcome to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. I'm your host, Sam Randazzo. And because it is 8:44 p.m. on a Wednesday and Uncle Sam could not bother to make the drive all the way here with 696 shut down, I am joined by one singular co-host, and he is none other than our very own Mr. Zolo, Mike Pelzola.
God bless.
Behind the computer is a man who defies all odds to overcome and absolutely gobble down gallons of goo. It is Bruce, the tugboat Venditti.
Hello.
We are also joined in studio by Sarah. Shout out to Sarah. Welcome. Thanks for joining us. Hi, everybody. It's late. We usually have, I think this is probably the latest episode we've ever done.
We ran schedule release at a similar time last year. It was a lot earlier than this.
It was earlier than this, yeah. So I had some technical difficulties and some physical difficulties with keys and all of the above. But we're here. We're ready. The schedules are out.
We're ready.
We're ready. Oh, shout out to Christopher wherever the fuck he is right now. God bless.
Where's Christopher?
I have no idea. Probably New York.
You don't have his
maybe
location?
in New York.
No,
Maybe
he
who knows?
refuses to give his brothers his location.
Maybe who knows? He might have joined the seminary. Could be in the Vatican. God knows.
Yeah, he could be the next pope.
Christopher. Yeah, you're right. You know what? If this guy dies, what's his name? Leo.
Leo.
If Leo dies,
Robert.
you have Pope Christopher. Well, they can't take their own name. He'd probably take something fucked
You
up.
could, you could take your own name.
Has anybody ever done it though?
It's rare. There's meaning behind the name.
If you go back like 1,000 years, maybe one of them did it. but-
St. Peter took
Oh yeah, that's
Peter.
true. St. Peter. Fuck. Anyways, schedule release came out. We haven't been here in a minute. When was the last time we were here? 10 days ago? Last Monday?
Monday.
I think so. Yeah, last
Yeah.
Monday. Like I said, Uncle Sam not joining us this evening. Shout out to Uncle Sam, probably at home with Mr. Cat, hanging out.
Mr. Cat.
If anybody's looking for a very hardworking employee, Bruce is now unemployed. So, shockingly, he was not. It was not the fire Bruce. Never caught on. It was retire Bruce. So Bruce is retired and he is now seeking new employment. So if there's anybody out there looking for
Yes,
what?
yes.
If there's anybody out there looking for below average, weed infested,
That's what you think.
semi soul having employees, Bruce is the man for you. So shout out to Bruce.
That's what you think.
Shout out to Bruce. Anyways, Zolo, how have you been for the last 10 days? High points, low points, pits, peaks.
Good. Just working. I'm actually on I think day 11 straight right now.
Wow.
I worked this weekend both
That's
days.
the hustle.
Yeah.
That is indeed the hustle.
I worked 10 hours on Saturday. But I'm leaving town tomorrow. So my weekend starts after this.
There we go.
Yeah. Going to New Orleans this weekend.
Ooh, any reason why? Or just...
Bachelor party.
Oh, there you go.
Shout out to Dave.
Shout out to fucking Dave. Dave's getting married, tying the knot, eh?
Dave's tying the knot.
God bless him. God bless him. Bruce,
Yes.
high points, low points, pits, peaks the next 10 days? Last 10 days?
I quit my job.
Is that a pit or a peak?
Both.
Okay.
That's about it.
That's it. Bruce quit his job. There we go. Any golf? Any pickle? Any golf or pickle going on for either of you? You athletes?
That's a great question. There was some pickle last week. My back is completely shot right now. I have sciatic nerve issues.
Worst.
And I also have tennis elbow. I might be playing in the morning.
Ooh, quick pickle before a flight?
Yeah, 6 a.m. The
There you
flight's
go.
not until 2, but I might be playing at 6 a.m. I don't know yet though.
Bruce, golf or Tigers games as of late or what?
Unfortunately, because of my quitting of my job, I have to save some money. So
Doing a little scale back there, eh?
yeah,
A little scale back. I hear you.
we'll be back on topic.
There you go.
I guess it might be a story for another time, but you could always go back to your job.
Novel ideas. We got novel ideas over here.
How about new?
We have another announcement to make, and this is a huge one. Tip softball. I must say it is lonely at the top for Tip softball right now because not only are we in first place And not only are we 4-0, 4-0, undefeated, as LeVar Ball said, we have never lost. Not only are both of those things true, but we also, in the Tuesday night Neighborhood Club League, now have the most runs for and the least, still the least amount of runs against, even with a 17-run game last night. Actually, we do not have the most runs against. My bad. But we have the most runs for with 61 after beating Firehouse Pub last night in a very contested battle, 20-17 game through 6. Great game. Great game. Bruce got a hit.
Finally.
What, 1 in 10 on the year? 1 in 11, something like that. Bruce got out of the bag.
2 in 10.
Zolo had a stellar inning.
Yeah.
Stellar inning.
Hold on, let me ask a question because I had to leave early. Was there an inning that you ever gave up less runs than the 2 that I yielded behind the plate in the first inning?
Inning where we gave up less.
They only scored 2 in the first inning. Did they score
2?
Did
we
they
had 1. We had 1.
Oh, shit.
We had 1-1
with Bruce behind the plate?
with Bruce behind the dish. Bruce,
work,
there
good
was an
work,
inning
Bruce.
with 1. We had a huge loss though, because unfortunately, I don't want to say luckily because every game matters, but we play Birds of Prey next week.
Oh, I'll be there.
Unfortunately, our pitcher has landed himself on the 15-day DL.
So who's pitching?
We might have to have tryouts. Might have to have an open tryout for pitching.
Connor is your closer.
Connor will probably come in. Connor's going to move from closer to starter. You know, Jack with a broken rib on the slide into home.
He broke his rib. Like actually broke his rib?
Broken rib.
Really?
Those take forever. to
Broken
heal.
rib on the slide into home. So shout out to Jack. T's and P's on your recovery there, bud. Anyways, we've got a lot to talk about. Not really. Kind of, maybe. Anyways, we're going to start it off. NFL schedule has been released today. People were leaking it online all day, and it made it really anticlimactic.
Hold on. For the Lions, this was the longest it's ever taken to get like the full schedule leaked.
How does it leak? I don't understand how.
Because someone works for the news network. So once you know, like whoever broadcasts the games knows the games that they're broadcasting, and then you can eventually piece a schedule together. And then someone who works for a team could leak it in the marketing department. It's not hard. It's not hard to leak it. It's really hard to embargo. And you got to remember, these teams, a lot of the time, they work on those schedule release videos like very far in advance.
True. So there's somebody somewhere is letting.
Bruce, can you somehow change the TikTok to make it say, ask us your NFL schedule questions? Because I want people to engage us on TikTok. It looks like we're getting a little bit of traction. We'd love for you guys to chime in on the TikTok and ask us questions.
Yeah,
please.
join us on TikTok. We love you on TikTok.
YouTube, we're modding as well.
Yeah, we're everywhere tonight. We're everywhere. We came ready to go. Obviously, it leaked, so most people knew very early in the day. Benny on TikTok, yeah, you should do football this year, bud. Go out there and get after it.
Mama K wants to hear about the Lions schedule.
Okay, Mama K, we're getting into it right now. Everybody pretty much knew earlier. Week 1, Sunday, 4:25 p.m. They're going to Green Bay. They're going to Lambeau Field, week 1. Personally, I love it. You go get you get the Tundra out of the way in September.
Yep.
That's a huge benefit to not have to play that game.
It's an extra home game.
Yeah.
It's an extra the way it's gone recently. That's an extra home game. So I think that's the dream scenario. And I think the Packers are going to be a little bit improved this year, but they're breaking in new guards, they're breaking in a new offensive line, and they're just a little bit suspect to begin with. Like they're a good team, but I think they overachieved last year, and to get them week 1 to go to, I think you're going to see a lot of Lions fans there week 1.
100%.
A lot of Lions.
You're
fans.
in peak Michigan road trip season there.
Yep.
Still, people are still excited about the Lions from last. Like that will be. Lions fans will take over Lambeau, and you have such a huge benefit of it being week 1 rather than week.
I'd consider, because it's week 1, I would consider going to that one.
100%. I mean, why not make a weekend out of it? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Love that for them. I agree. I think the Packers are suspect. I think they have a lot of things to figure out. I don't think they'll have it figured out by week 1. I would give the Lions a W week 1 in Green Bay.
Yeah, it's a great time to be playing the Packers. You're going to be extremely healthy.
Yep.
I'm looking forward to it. That's a good start. If you're going to start on the road, having a divisional 4 p.m. game in September in Green Bay on the road and getting it out of the way, that works for me. That tracks.
100%. And then the beauty of this is week 2, first home game of the year, you get to play the Bears. And I guess we still need to have the debate of if getting to play the Bears means the same thing it has the last couple years. I don't know if that's necessarily true, but my thoughts on this are Ben Johnson they're not going to be ready enough by week 2 to come into Detroit and be able to out-scheme the Lions, have everything work copacetically, and get that win week 2.
So something to look forward to on this is the Bears, I believe, they open up, are they Monday night? I think they open up at home Monday night against the Vikings. So what's good about this one is, come on, is this the right one? No, it's preseason.
I'm pulling it up now, yeah.
This is the preseason. Yeah, Monday night at home. So what's nice about this one is the Bears are going to be on short rest.
Bears will be on
You're gonna have to see Ben Johnson. What he was known for was being arguably the most prepared coach in the room.
And they got to play Minnesota week 1.
Yeah, 100%. And that's it's Minnesota week 1 at home, and then they come to Detroit. So it's his first road game, and it's going to be the first Lions home game as well. So
it's going to be rabid.
it should be pretty insane.
Fucking rabid.
It should be pretty insane. It's not. I personally think the Bears are going to be good, but we also don't know, and they're going to be on short rest, and you're going to get them at home. So good start. I think that's a great start.
I think that's a 2-0 start. Personally,
I think it should be a 2-0
I think it's
start.
a 2-0 start.
Should be.
All right. This is where stuff starts to get interesting. And now, if I'm not mistaken, the Lions have the 3rd hardest strength of schedule this season. So there's going to be a lot of teams in here that you really don't want to play, and that's kind of a flip, a little bit of a flip from last year, where I thought they had a pretty favorable schedule. So we need to analyze this in depth. Week 3, you have Monday Night Football in Baltimore.
I'm gonna chalk that up as a loss right now.
I think I'm gonna chalk that.
I think we're looking at 2-1. That's gonna be a tough place to play, and it's especially gonna be a tough place to play at nighttime.
Monday night.
Yeah, and just I don't know if it'll come down. We'll know early on because you're gonna get a good taste on Caleb Williams. So if you can handle Caleb Williams and look good defensively, then hopefully you're going to be a little bit more prepared this time around to play Lamar Jackson.
100%.
I just think the Ravens. I'm always been pro Ravens, and I think they're a great team, and I think that's going to be a tough game. But who am I?
I think I'm going to chalk that one up to as an L as well. Bruce, do you have anything through the first 3 weeks that you disagree with?
Negative. I haven't been paying attention to anything you guys are saying.
There we go. Look at you, super fucking star back there, bud.
I'm focusing on getting something up on the screen here.
Are you? You're getting something? Look at him go. Oh, Bruce, speaking of you, Jacqueline's in the chat on TikTok. Shout out to Jacqueline. Jacqueline, unfortunately, Bruce is...
You like that?
What?
I did like it, yes.
Bruce is now unemployed, which means he has plenty of time for you now. You need to slide back in at Augustino, whatever, at Augustino on Instagram. Get in there. What are we thinking about the home game schedule? I don't really it as much.
We'll get there.
Yeah.
It's tough because there's eight games this year, and there's not a lot of great teams. I mean the divisional one, when your divisional games are the ones that stand out the most, and I guess you got a Monday night against Tampa. Is that a double? It is a doubleheader because it starts at 7, so that sucks, and it says ESPN ABC. And then I guess you get the Cowboys on primetime on a Thursday night. That's kind of nice because they're annoying fans that all live in Michigan and don't have jobs. They're not going to show up as much for that one. So I think you're going to get a lot of Lions fans for that one since it's Thursday night. I don't love their home schedule in terms of like premium games. A lot of their premium games are on the road. I think we keep going though let's hit week 4 real quick.
Week 4, we get Cleveland at home. I'm sorry. I truly think that you're going to have a duel between Cleveland and the Saints for worst team in football this year.
Maybe.
Personally. So
what if Aaron Rodgers goes to the Saints?
Yeah, I really don't give a shit either way. That'll be like that'll be a reincarnation of the Jets from last year. So obviously I'm giving them a W at home against the Browns. There will be some Browns fans there. I'm not worried about that. I will say, now that I'm really looking at this better, so far our home games through the first, you get the Bears and the Browns, and your away games are Green Bay, Baltimore, and then week 5 you go to Cincinnati at 4:25. So yeah, the home game schedule so far, I'm not a huge fan of because it kind of sucks. You're getting the shittiest teams from the crop through the first third of the season, but either way. What do you make of the Cincinnati game week 5?
That should be fun. We're all hoping Joe Burrow rebounds. I'll say this much. That one's got a good shot to feel like a home game because we're all talking about going.
Yeah.
And if Cincinnati does the thing where they start slow like they always do, they're going to be fiending to win that one, you know? So you almost want Cincinnati to start faster than they normally do, but not look as well.
Right.
I think Cincinnati's defense is suspect enough that you can go in there and win a shootout. I think you can win a shootout there. In fact, I would go as far to say that they're going to win Week 5 in Cincinnati, and I'm going to put them at. I'm going to say 4-1.
Just because, I want to talk about Cincinnati in a little bit more depth because Trey Hendrickson came out today and spoke for 20 minutes on the sidelines about how he would not play this year.
It's crazy that he's even going to OTAs.
Yeah,
he's not practicing. He's not practicing.
No, he's not practicing. He's just showing up to talk shit, which, I mean, whatever gets it done, but I don't think he's on the team to start the year.
Mm-hmm. No, I don't either. It goes back to that conversation we've always had about these things get done.
Yeah,
I think this doesn't get done.
It's not getting done. I mean, I saw a stat the other day about Cincinnati, and it was talking about who has the most expensive wide receiver rooms in the NFL. And Cincinnati, by about $15 million, they owe $58 million to receivers this year. That's insane. Like, you're going to lose out on defensive guys when you owe 50-some million to Burrow, and your wide receiver room and your quarterbacks take up $100 million.
Mm-hmm.
Their defense is never going to be great. Not with that. Week 6, we go on the road again, this time to Arrowhead. It is Sunday Night Football from Kansas City. I would have to say that's a dub.
No, I'm gonna defer. I appreciate where you're coming from. You're hoping for a Chiefs regression to call that a dub.
I am not hoping. I am praying.
Yeah, and it's possible.
I am begging for a Chiefs regression.
It's possible. This is the reason. I think they're going to split one of these two games. I think they're going to split the Kansas. I don't think they have it in them to win both of them. And if they do, I certainly don't think they're going to come on Monday night and beat Tampa the next week.
I see. Now we're in agreement here.
Yeah, they cannot win all three of those games. It's just not possible.
For some reason, and this goes back to last year, I feel like Tampa just plays us really, really well.
And they're better. They're better.
They got better.
They came in here. Their regular season win here last year was very unhealthy.
Yeah.
You know, you're going to have Chris Godwin back. You're going to hopefully have healthy Mike Evans. They have one of the best wide receiver rooms in football. That's a kryptonite for the Lions. My only thing is if the Lions defense is improved, you should have a pretty good shot at this one. I like that it's at home. I'm happy it's at home.
I am too. It's a Monday Night Football game at home.
Yeah, before the bye, it should feel pretty good.
So, but you think they can go 2-1 between Cincinnati, KC, and Tampa, or are they going 1-2?
I think looking at the segments, which I love to do. Okay, I love to do this. Looking at those 4-game segments,
right?
I think if you go 3-1 in the first 4-game segment. And if you go, let's call it 2-2 or better in that second segment, which is at Cincinnati, at Kansas City, Tampa at home, Minnesota at home. 3 out of 4 playoff teams. The fourth one is the Bengals, who I think won 9 games. If not, they win 8 and 9. And we're on the brink of the playoff. It's Joe Burrow. It could be healthy at the beginning of the year.
Right.
That's your tough stretch, believe it or not. It might not seem like it right now, but that is your tough stretch. It's before the bye, and then you have the bye after that. So the schedule kind of shaked out. It shaked out okay.
And I would say they win Week 9 at home against Minnesota.
I'm going to say yes because I think Minnesota takes a little bit of a regression this year, and that's after the bye. I love that that's after the bye.
Does Dan Campbell lose 2 in a row?
Here?
Well, between Kansas City and Tampa.
No, I think they win both of those home games. Well,
No,
Tampa.
Kansas, so you're giving them L against Kansas City and a W against Tampa.
That's what I'm doing. Yeah.
Okay.
That's my and I think they split Cincinnati, Kansas City, and then they win Tampa. That's my guess. So no, I don't think they're going to lose any of those home games.
So coming out of the bye week against Minnesota, we're giving them a dub for that as well.
Mm-hmm.
I'm
Remember,
sorry.
this team hasn't lost 2 games in a row in a very long time.
I wanted for a second. I just want to talk about in division.
Mm-hmm.
I don't see them losing a divisional game.
It would be one of those last 2. Wow, they end the season on the road twice. That's
Yeah.
kind of wild.
They do. I will get there, but I don't. For some reason, Minnesota's definitely going to regress.
Mm-hmm.
Right? There's no question there. Chicago, I think, and I'd have to go through their schedule in a little bit more depth. I think Chicago, they have a Super Bowl as a 10-win team. And I'm sorry, Green Bay doesn't scare me still. Like, there's nothing about Green Bay that scares me. So, people are going to look back on last year and think this Minnesota game, some sort of trap game or whatever. I don't see it there. I don't. That was the consensus amongst everybody today. It was like, oh, they're going to come out of the bye and get punched in the mouth by Minnesota. I don't see that happening. Not at home. So if we move on from there, week 10 at 4:25, you're going to the nation's capital to play the Commanders.
So again, I think you have to look at this in segments, and I think you have to include, if you want to say week 11, please.
Week 11, we play Philadelphia on Sunday Night Football.
They're not going to win both of those games. They're going to split. If anything, they might go 0-2.
They're not going to win both.
They're not going to win both of those games.
Can I be honest? I feel like it'd be very Lions to go into Washington and lose, and then go into Philadelphia the week after and win.
Yeah, and I
Because-
can see them losing to Washington because they present matchup challenges. I think the Lions match up very nicely against the Eagles, and they don't match up against the Commanders.
No.
So I can see that. I can see them I could see them losing to Washington after that stretch. Like, I have them not losing in almost a month, and then I could see them going into Philly and winning. I could totally see that happening.
So week 10, we're going to chalk that up as an L. Now, the Philadelphia game's interesting. That was the one that we all came out of last year and said, oh, if they beat Washington, would they have been able to beat Philadelphia? And I feel like the consensus was no at the current state of the Lions from last year's playoff run.
Hindsight's 2020. I don't think the way the defense was at that point in time and how injured they were, I don't think they could beat Philly then.
Do you think Philadelphia got better?
No. I don't think they got worse. I don't think they got better.
So the Lions, this incarnation of the Lions.
They're missing C.J. Gardner-Johnson from last year.
Yep.
They're missing Brandon Graham. I know he only played one game, basically. They're missing Brandon Graham. Didn't they have some attrition on offense? Am I making that up? They're missing Darius Slay. Like, there's some guys. It's going to be a different Eagles team. And I know if there's one team whose rookies always play well, it's Philly.
Yeah.
I think you can catch Philly. They're going to win one of those 2 games, and my bet is going to be they're going to be a little bit more up for Philly. Even if Washington beat them last year, I think they're going to be up for Philly.
Okay. I can vibe with that. So we got them losing to Washington, beating Philly, and then week 12 they play the Giants at home.
Mm-hmm.
That's a W.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we can all safely say that, right?
Yeah, this is a nice little home stretch here.
This is a beautiful.
It's similar to last year, but with worse opponents. Last year it was Green Bay, Buffalo, and who? I'm missing one.
Was it the
It was
Raiders?
2 primetime games. No,
It was the Halloween Raiders, wasn't it?
no, that was 2 years ago.
Oh, shit.
Oh no, that was last year because they got Josh McDaniels fired.
Yes. Yeah.
But though that wasn't part of the stretch. They had a stretch in early December. They had the Thursday night. I'm sorry, who did they play on Thanksgiving last
Bears.
year? The
Remember?
Bears.
The-
They beat
the bullshit at
Chicago.
the end.
Then they beat Green Bay a week later, and then they had Buffalo and they lost.
Yes.
And it was their first loss since Tampa, whatever it was,
Right,
week 2.
2.
Yeah, this is a nice stretch and it's winnable. I think Dallas is primed for a bounce back here. They obviously look a little bit better on paper after the trade that we haven't talked about.
Correct.
But I still think they're better than Dallas. Am I off there?
I think they're better than Dallas.
I still think they're better than Dallas.
I
and
would
I
give
like
them-
that it's Thursday night. Thursday night, Detroit ball. Like they vibe for that.
Correct.
The city comes out for Thursday night games.
So we have Thanksgiving at home against Green Bay. I'm giving them a W there. I think that's going to be a really tight game, but I think they win it.
Yep.
The following week, Thursday night football again at home against Dallas. I give them a W there. In week 15, 425, 10 days after their Thursday night football game with Dallas, they go to Los Angeles to play the Rams.
I love the rest. I think the rest will work against them.
Agreed.
And I also think that it's just going to depend on what Rams team. Like the Rams are so bipolar. Now they've been rock solid in the back half of the year.
Absolutely.
Post injury. So I can't gauge that right now. I'm going to tell you it's a loss.
I think I'm chalking that one up to
I'm going to
loss.
say a loss today, but talk to me in 4 months and we'll see how I feel.
I think that one's going to be an L as well.
So my like gun to my head losses are going to be so far at Baltimore.
Yep.
I think they lose at Kansas City
Yep.
personally. I think they lose at Washington.
Yep.
And I think they lose at LA. So I have 4 losses right now.
I'm in lockstep with you there.
Yeah.
The only one that's iffy for me, the only one that I might want to swap would be I think they could beat KC and lose to Tampa, and I could see them losing to Philadelphia.
Yeah.
That's it. But I'm as far as they're going to win a game that we think they're going to lose, they'll probably lose a game that we think they're going to win. So I think we're in lockstep right now as far as wins and losses.
Yep.
This game's very interesting to me. December 21st, 4:30, we host Pittsburgh.
It's a win. They don't have a quarterback. It's a win. They're not.
What if they sign Aaron Rodgers?
It's not going to be Aaron Rodgers. The only slight factor I would consider is how well Steeler fans travel, and the Steelers have tended to have the Lions number at Ford Field. I think that changes this year. It's the last home game of the year. CBS and the 4:30 slate should be a lot of fun. That game should be a lot of fun, and I think that the crowd will be on one, and I think they ultimately end up winning. There's so many blue blood programs coming here this year.
Oh.
In that backstretch, your last 4 home games are the Giants, the Packers, the Cowboys, and the Steelers.
But the problem is we're getting them all when they're dog shit.
Yeah, it's great. No, I want that.
But I'm saying, and I think this is what they were referring to in the TikTok chat, our away games, you go to Baltimore, you go to Cincinnati, you go to Kansas City, you go to Washington, to Philadelphia, to Los Angeles. We got all the dumpster fires at home, which I guess is nice. But at the end of the day, I think it'd be nice to host Kansas City. Could you imagine the way Ford Field would be hosting Kansas City?
It's coming. Bruce, I love that Ask Us Questions banner in the.
Yeah, that's cute, Bruce. Nicely done on there.
Yeah.
R on TikTok. I will jump to the Niners thing for you and for Dark Lumen. Hopping back. So week 16, Pittsburgh at home. We're giving them a W. Like you said, these last 2 games are interesting. Both divisional games. Week 17, we go to Minnesota on Christmas Day at 4:30.
They can't win them. They can't win them both. Like if you
That's-
beat Minnesota, you're looking at beating them like 6 or 7 straight times at that point.
That one smells like a loss to me.
Listen, it's going to depend on if Minnesota takes that regression that I think they're going to take, but like who knows? Maybe things click at this point and JJ McCarthy's good. I just personally don't think Minnesota is going to be the second best team in the division this year.
No, I don't.
They're going to have a rookie quarterback with a second place schedule.
Yep.
It's not going to be easy for them. So I'm not buying it. I'm not buying it. At Chicago, week 18.
That's scary.
That's a loss.
That's scary.
That's a loss.
Because I feel like if the schedule plays out the way that we think it's going to, right? So if we give them a win in week 17, in week 18 they lose to Chicago, that game might hold a little bit of weight, and that scares me.
I think it could.
Because Ben Johnson would how storybook would that be for him to cost us home field advantage?
It's kind of bullshit that so the way the NFL schedule shakes out, like there's consistencies because there's rules in place on the schedule. Like we've talked about this before, but we know 14 out of 17 games every year in advance. We can do this for next year. And out of those 14 games, I can tell you who's home and away. I could do it for 2 years from now, 3 years from now. We know games in advance, okay? Something else we know is that you always play a divisional opponent the last week of the season. Personally, in my opinion, I think that if you won the division the year before, you should earn the right to play the final game at home to end the year. Okay? So that divisional game should be at home. It was the last 2 years. So last year it was Minnesota at home. The year before that it was Minnesota at home. The year before that they obviously went into Green Bay on the road. They won that game to spoil their season, which was outstanding. Yeah. I think that it's kind of bullshit that in a nine road game schedule that they have to end at home the year after winning the division, playing in a first place schedule. That bothers me a little bit.
I agree.
Now, that being said, if we're breaking it down, that might be their only cold weather game in the back half of their schedule, pending the weather in Philly and Washington post-bye. This schedule, again, for the third year in a row, shakes out really nicely from a weather perspective. So we have that going for us. I'm going to chalk that Chicago game up as a loss no matter what.
And that puts us at 12-5.
I think 12-5 is very safe. And some people might call that a regression. I don't. I just think they're playing a significantly harder schedule this year. And I think 12-5, like, I have to see how it shakes out. I still think a team from the West, because we talked about this before, the NFC West this year gets to play the NFC South, and they get to play the AFC South this year, if I remember correctly. So they get to play the two worst teams in football, or the two worst divisions in football, and therefore I think a team from the West is going to have a very good shot to finish as the 1 seed. I don't think an East team, meaning like Philly or Washington or even Dallas, I don't think one of those teams are going to finish as the top record in the NFC, and I don't think a South team, it would be Tampa probably. I don't see a South team doing it. The 1 seed is going to come from the NFC West or the NFC North. So I think 12-5 is going to have a very good shot to get you the 1 seed. The only thing I could see is if the Niners bounce back or if the Rams take some massive leap and finish 13-4 or 14-3.
Those are the two schedules I want to go over with you, and I want to run through it. The 49ers, they got Seattle week 1.
Mm-hmm. Win.
They got Seattle week 1, the Saints week 2.
Win.
Arizona week 3.
Win.
Jacksonville week 4.
Win.
LA week 5.
Where is it?
That one is away.
Loss.
In Tampa week 6.
Loss.
At home against Carolina in week 7.
Win.
At Houston in week 8.
Win for me. I think that's a win.
It is too. Then they host the Giants.
Win.
Then they host LA.
They're going to split with the Rams.
Right, so we already gave them a
win.
Then they get Arizona again.
Win.
Carolina.
This is assuming the Niners return to form. Like, there's help. Like, Brock Purdy's still Brock Purdy. Christian McCaffrey's healthy. Their additions in the trenches work out. Like, this is assuming, because I think it's still a good organization and it's well coached.
Correct. Carolina.
Wait, didn't we already do Carolina or
Carolina at home. Hold on, let me see. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. No, we did not.
Okay, win.
Win. In Cleveland.
Win.
At home against Tennessee.
Win.
In Indy.
Win.
At home against Chicago.
Win.
At home against Seattle.
Dude, did they finish in last?
I think so, yeah.
So that's why they get to play the Bears? No, because the Bears finished in last.
Yeah, so then they must have finished 1 game behind Arizona.
That's crazy.
So we have them.
Place.
I mean,
oh yeah, they picked 6 or 7.
We got them going 15-2.
Yeah, I mean, I think if they return to form, right, and there's no injuries, yeah, I could see that happening.
The one to Houston, maybe they drop both to LA.
Which interesting development on that. Super Bowl's in San Francisco. Not saying that, like, they avoid, other than the Chicago Bears, they avoid the Packers, they avoid the Lions, and they avoid the Vikings. And they also avoid. Do they avoid the East teams? Do they play Philly or they don't play Philly or Washington? Again, because of the way the schedule shakes out, you're gonna see the Rams or the Niners go on a heater.
All right, here we go. Let's do the same thing for the Rams real quick. Rams, week 1. Hold on, their color. I don't understand their color. Oh, here, Houston at home.
I think it's a win.
At Tennessee.
Win.
At Philly.
I'll say loss.
I'll give them
Stafford outdoors. Is that primetime game too? Week 3?
It's got to be foreign. It says 10 a.m.
No, that's West Coast. It's 1 o'clock. That's why. It's West Coast. It's a
okay.
1 p.m. game.
Got it.
Stafford at 1. I don't like that for him. That's a loss.
At home against Indy.
Win.
At home against Frisco.
Win. Oh, we split it. So we gave the Rams the win for that one.
There. At Baltimore.
Loss. He's not winning there.
At Jacksonville.
Win.
At home against the Saints.
Win.
At Frisco, we gave them a loss.
Yep.
At home against Seattle.
Win.
At home against Tampa.
Dude, Tampa's had their number low key, haven't they?
Huh?
I'm gonna say a win because it's a quote unquote home game.
We'll give it
but
one. At Carolina.
Win.
At Arizona.
Win.
At home against the Lions. Give
I win. We gave him a win. No, we gave the Rams a win. I said the Rams were gonna win that game.
Ooh, yes, I did too.
Yeah.
Actually,
So
that's a
win.
At Seattle.
They're gonna split with
say
Seattle
they lose
because
to
they
Seattle.
always do.
Then they go to Atlanta.
Atlanta could be good this year. I'm gonna say they win at Atlanta
And then
because McVay. Those are McVay assistants, if I remember correctly.
they play
Raheem Morris.
Yes. They play Arizona at home to end the year.
Win. So 14-3.
1, 2, 3, 4.
Yeah.
4 losses.
One of those two teams are going to win the division, and one of those two teams are going to end up with the
Both
one
those
seed.
teams could be playoff teams. Should.
Yeah, 100%. There's that division. Again, they get to play the AFC and the NFC South this year, which are the two worst divisions in football. And because of that, they're going to run it. They're going to they're going to get two teams in the playoffs, maybe 3, right? I'm going to say 2, and they're going to run it. Like one of those teams will be the one seed. I think it's the Niners personally, but
Doesn't that suck? Now, is there any circumstance where the Lions don't win this division?
I'd have to run through the schedule. The threat to me is Chicago because they get to play a last place schedule and they're loaded. I just got to see what their new coach has in store for them. It's going to come down to Ben Johnson. You know me, I've always
fun. Let's have some fun. And I know we're getting close to it here, so we'll keep this brief. But.
No, I got time.
So they host Minnesota week 1.
They host Minnesota week 1. I'm going to say that's a win.
Then Detroit.
Loss.
They host Dallas week 3. That's a loss. There's no
right now, I'm going to give it to the Cowboys.
Yeah, I agree. Then they go to Las Vegas.
Win.
Bye week 5.
Lucky them, by the way.
I know.
I want to go to Las Vegas. Bye week 5. That's a bad bye week.
Horrible bye week. Horrible. Then they go to Washington.
Loss.
Host the Saints.
Win.
To Baltimore.
Loss.
To Cincy.
I'm going to say loss.
I agree. Home against the Giants.
Win.
To Minnesota. They got to split with Minnesota, right?
Yeah.
That's a loss then. To Green Bay.
That's going to be, you know what? I'm going to give them a win after all the shit that's been talked.
At home against Cleveland.
Win.
At home against Green Bay. They play Green Bay
I'm gonna
twice in 2 weeks.
I don't know how the Packers are going to be, but it's going to be a split. No matter what, they're splitting the series. So loss.
And then Frisco.
Loss.
And then the Lions.
I think they win that one.
Win. So that's 1,
6.
2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
Which is a good year for the Bears in 9-8.
Yeah. 8 losses. 9-8. I think if the
Dude.
Bears go 9-8 this year.
Do the rest of the division.
Okay.
And we'll finish with that.
All right. Let's do mini.
I can pull up Green Bay here.
Okay. So Minnesota. What did the Vikings do with their schedule release? I don't even know what's going on here. This is all fucked up. All right, Minnesota.
Mm-hmm.
At Chicago, we have them losing.
We have them losing, yep.
At home against this is all fucked up. At home against Atlanta.
Loss.
At home against Cincinnati.
Loss.
At Pittsburgh.
I'm going to say win.
At Cleveland.
Win.
At home against Philadelphia.
Loss.
At the Chargers. I think that's a loss.
I think it's a loss to Harbaugh gets to play against JJ McCarthy.
Yeah.
That's kind of cool.
At Detroit.
Loss at Detroit is a loss. Lions are after the bye.
At home against Baltimore.
Loss.
At home against Chicago. We got them. We got Chicago.
We have them splitting. I
Yeah.
don't remember
So
what
we
it was, but
we have them winning each winning at home.
Mhm.
At Green Bay.
We have them splitting, right? No.
We haven't done Green Bay.
At Green Bay, he's going to lose. He's not going to go into Green Bay and win.
At Seattle.
That's Mike McDonald, his old Mike McDonald and Jay Harbaugh versus.
That's a loss.
I'll bet they lose that one.
They'll lose
Sam
that game.
Darnold revenge game.
At home against Washington.
Loss.
At Dallas.
They might, again. They have a second place schedule with a rookie quarterback. They're going to regress this year for that reason alone. At Dallas, I'm going to say loss.
At the Giants.
Win. They're going to win that one.
At home against Detroit on Christmas Day.
I think they all. It's circumstantial at this point.
Loss. And then we have to have them beating Green Bay at home if we have them splitting. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 wins. So that's
I don't think they're going to be that bad. I'll say they come around 7. So is Green Bay really going to be the second best team in the division this year,
Looks like it. Let's do it.
or maybe first? By the way, the Tigers walked it off. It looks like a second ago.
Oh, still number 1.
Still number 1.
Just like tip softball, baby.
Is there a direct correlation there?
Still only at the top.
Okay,
Only at the
Green Bay week 1, Detroit at home. We said Lions.
Right. So we have Green Bay losing week 1. Okay.
Week 2 is Thursday Night Football, September 11th, by the way, Sarah, against the Commanders. I'm going to say they win that
You think so? Where at?
do.
Is it at Lambeau? Or?
at Lambeau.
Yeah, let's give it to them.
At Cleveland, week 3.
That's a win.
At Dallas, week 4.
That's a loss.
2-2.
Yep.
Their bye is week 5.
Oh,
That's
God, that
outstanding.
sucks.
That is out. The Lions have. Does everyone have? What was Minnesota's bye? Do you have it up right now?
It's week 5.
So
No. They're dude, their thing, I can't even fucking read it. So that's week 6. Week 7 is their bye.
So all of the Lions division, and then Minnesota also. By the way, we forgot this, but they have back-to-back road Europe games. Forgot to mention that
They played.
they play in
twice.
London and Dublin. They play in Dublin, then London.
Okay, they play week 4 at
With
Pittsburgh in Dublin.
Yeah,
So we got them winning that.
I still think they win that.
And then week 5, Cleveland at Cleveland in London.
They could sweep international.
Wow.
By the way, I will be so pissed. The Lions are going to host a game in Germany next year. They better have a road game before that in London or whatever. I want back-to-back Euro games next year so I can go to both of those games. But that's a story for another time. Out of the bye, week 6, there's Cincinnati at home. I think Cincinnati's going to be good, so I'm going to say that Cincinnati wins that game.
So you think
2 and
Bay
3.
is losing 2 and 3?
At Arizona, week 7, I think they win that.
Yep.
At Pittsburgh, week 8, I think they win that.
Yep.
At Carolina at home, week 9, I think they win that.
Yep.
This one's tricky. They play Philly Monday Night Football week 10
It's a loss.
at home. Philly swept them last year. Both games were close. Nobody played Philly closer all year than Green Bay. They lost both, but Philly played them close both times.
Does Philadelphia lose to both Green Bay and the Lions?
And that's in back-to-back weeks, I think, by the way.
There's no way.
I think Philly ultimately wins that game.
Okay.
Because it's just a matchup problem.
It is. It is.
At the Giants, week 11.
It's a win.
It's a win. Minnesota at home, week 12. I think that's a win. We gave them a win.
Yep.
At Detroit, week 13 on the road. I think the Lions win that. They're going to split with Chicago, in my opinion. Ben Johnson has to win his debut in Green Bay.
Yeah.
I think that they lose week 14 at home against the Bears. You ready for this one? This is a fun one. At Denver, week 15.
That's a loss.
I'm going to say it's a loss.
That's a loss.
I'm going to say it's a loss.
Yep.
At Chicago, week 16, I think they win
They
that.
win that.
Versus Baltimore at home, week 17. It's a flex game. I think they lose. And then they play at Minnesota, week 18. I think that's a win.
So we have Baltimore sweeping the division.
Yeah, I mean, if the Ravens play their best football, they should sweep the NFL.
1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 losses.
So we have 10 and 7 for the Packers. I believe we had 8 and 9.
9-8.
9-8 for the Bears and 5-12 for the Vikings.
Yeah. And you want to know what's fucked up? I could go back and look. We had almost the exact same predictions last year across the board.
Yeah, so we're banking on the Vikings superseding expectations. And I could see it's going to come down. It's J.J. McCarthy. It comes down to J.J. McCarthy.
And how good can he be out of the fucking gate?
Mm-hmm.
That's what really matters. Other games of note, you want to go over the primetime games of week 1 real quick?
Yeah.
Let's do that, and then we'll wrap. Sunday. Okay, I see Sunday Night Football here. Week 1, it's
Hold on. Week 1 is the opener is Cowboys Eagles.
that's fantastic.
Yeah, it's great. That's great.
Where is that game?
It's Philly because
Okay.
they won the Super Bowl. And then the Brazil game is Chiefs Chargers with the Chargers hosting, quote unquote, in Sao Paulo again.
Chiefs are gonna run them.
I disagree. I think that could be the Chargers played them both. They played them close.
Close. You're right.
And the first time they lost because they lost their quarterback. Justin Herbert left the
Yeah.
game in the first one. No, I think that's a close. I think that's a very close game. I'm gonna give the edge to the Chiefs, but I think that's a close game. Dolphins, Colts, meh.
Dog shit.
Steelers, Jets, meh. It's Ben Johnson's, Aaron Glenn's debut. Panthers, Jaguars. That's no. I think that's kind of fun on paper because I think those are two
Up in commerce.
yeah. There's potential, right? Like both of those teams are like shit or get off the pot years.
Right.
Cardinals, Saints, meh.
Yeah,
Giants, Commanders, meh. Bucks, Falcons could be fun.
that could be.
Battle for Ohio off the rip in Cleveland. Patriots, Raiders. That could be fun. Patriots, Raiders
Yeah.
in a bad way. Seahawks, Niners has a lot of potential. Titans, Broncos. That's Cam Ward's debut is in Denver against Bo Nix. That could be a lot of fun. Lions, Packers, we mentioned. Texans, Rams is if the Texans bounce back, that could be fun. Bills, Ravens is Sunday Night Football week
Fucking
1.
fantastic.
That's
What
outstanding.
a way to start off Sunday.
And then Ben Johnson's debut is at home Monday Night Football.
That's okay. Sunday Night Football is important, right? The Sunday Night week 1, we get a beautiful
In Buffalo, by the way.
in Buffalo. Ravens have to go to Buffalo week 1. Week 2, Falcons at Minnesota. I'll take it.
That's not bad.
Not bad. Week 3, you get Kansas City at the Giants, dude. What the fuck are they doing?
I think people are thinking the Giants are going to bounce back this
They're
year.
not bouncing to shit. What are they going to get? 4 or 5 wins with Jackson Dart at the helm year 1? Please.
There's some metric, by the way. I got to look into this further, but there's some metric that's been used to quantify rookie quarterback success since the dawn of the draft. And Jackson Dart he has like the highest score ever on this metric. Like he got 100 on this metric. And any quarterback that's been in the ballpark as a rookie on these preseason metrics has panned out. So people are starting to think that Jackson Dart could be good if he can buy in and learn Dable's system.
It's not going to happen.
I don't think it's going to happen week 3. It's not going to happen week 3 against the Kansas City Chiefs.
No. Week 4, you got Green Bay at Dallas.
That's good.
I'll take that.
That's really good.
Week 5, you got New England at fucking Buffalo.
That's not great.
That's not great.
You're asking a lot of the Patriots
That's
this year.
dog shit, yeah.
Yeah.
And then you got the Lions and the Chiefs. We
Outstanding.
can't be better than that. Then the Falcons get a second one.
Where?
San Francisco.
Oh, it's in Atlanta, right?
No, it's in Frisco.
Oh, it's in San Francisco.
Yep. And then Green Bay gets a second one at Pittsburgh.
Okay.
Then you get the Seahawks coming cross country on Sunday Night Football at the Commanders.
It's going to be tough for Seattle.
That's going to be a tough game. Then week 10, you get Pittsburgh at the Chargers. I'm sorry, that's going to be a fucking snooze fest. Then we get the Lions again away at Pittsburgh or at Philadelphia
That's Sunday night or Monday night?
Sunday night.
Shit.
Then you get Tampa at LA in week 12. And that's one I'm circling. I think that's going to be a fantastic game.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get Denver at Washington. So it's 2 for Washington as well.
Mm-hmm.
Then you get a third for Kansas City, Houston at KC. And then a second for Minnesota. Minnesota at Dallas. So Dallas is 2 Sunday night games. They host Green Bay and host Minnesota. Week 16, you get Bengals at Dolphins. And then week 17, you get the Bears at the 49ers.
That's the two divisions I'm curious about right now and how they shake out because I don't know who's going to win. I mean, I think the Ravens should run the North.
I agree.
But
with you
but the AFC North and the AFC East, like is someone going to are the Dolphins going to rebound to take down the Bills? The Bills are going to have a really tough first place schedule this year.
Yeah, they are. I very quickly looked at that, but I don't see them winning more than 12 games.
Mm-hmm.
So, that's it. That's all I think we've got for you. Are you happy with that, or is there anything else you?
Considering how tough the Lions' schedule is this year, like we knew it was tough. Like we knew who they were going to play. We knew the road games. I don't think the way the schedule was balanced I don't think it's that bad. It's not like now that I see the schedule and how it's formatting and when they're how it's formatted and when they're playing where in the week 8 bye, I don't think things are bad at all. I think if you get to 12 wins, you're in really good shape. Really good shape.
Did you see how the Bills did their schedule release?
No, is it good?
It's pretty good.
Yeah, Sarah and I, there's a tradition every year. Before bed, we're going to go through and...
I'm talking just on Twitter. I didn't even see the video, but on Twitter, it was fucking hilarious too. Buffalo is going to be an interesting storyline all year just because, again, we don't know where they're going to... I mean, they start out Baltimore to the Jets, at home against Miami, at home against New Orleans, at home against New England. That's a nice stretch. Then they go to Atlanta. They got a week 7 bye. At Carolina, at home against KC. At Miami, at home against Tampa. That's a tough stretch. At Houston, at Pittsburgh, at home against Cincy. They get Cincy at home, which is nice. And then to finish out the year, they get New England, Cleveland, Philadelphia, and the Jets. So I think they could, at their best, they're a 12-5 team as well, personally. Bruce, do you have anything to add?
Nope. I'm ready for bed, man.
Bruce, could this be the last time you join us on the Tip Balls podcast?
I hope not.
Is it?
No.
We're not. Bruce isn't retiring?
No.
Okay. Good. I just want to make sure he's coming back. Zolo, do you have anything to add?
No.
It is 9:36 on a Wednesday, and we're talking football. That's just the way it should be. I would like to thank you all for listening to another episode of the Tip Balls Podcast. Make sure to follow our socials, Instagram and Twitter at Tip Balls, TikTok at Tip Balls Podcast. If you're listening to us on Spotify or Apple Music, if Bruce remembered to upload it, you can watch us on YouTube or TikTok where we go live, and you can join us in the comments and talk all kinds of shit. So join us there. If you're going on YouTube, remember to click subscribe and ring the bell so you get notified when we go live. God knows what time. There's no set anything anymore. I can't say at 5 because
We'll get on a schedule.
I don't remember the last time we recorded at 5. It's either 2 or 9 or whatever. Thank you all for listening. We'll be back next week.